everybody, thank you so much for clicking on today's video. Welcome back, or welcome if you are new here. Today we are doing my March reviews. First week of every month I do a big long roundup video of every new makeup, skincare, hair care, body care product that I have tried in the previous month. So this is the first week of April. We are getting the reviews for every product I tried in March. First week of March, you got the reviews for every product I tried in February. First month of May, you will get the reviews for everything that I'm about to try this month in April. I do these in case maybe there's a product that you saw me use once that you wanted to know if I had more updated thoughts on it, or maybe there's products that I only talked about on TikTok and I never talked about on YouTube, or maybe there's products that I never talked about on any platform, but I was using it and testing it behind the scenes. It just didn't fit into a video anywhere. So that is what my monthly reviews are for. The way that I structure these videos, I go makeup, skincare, hair care, and I do the best products, the worst products, and then the products that are just okay. Because I feel like a lot of times the beauty community can be very hyperbolic and this is the best thing ever, or this is absolutely hot garbage, when in reality, there's a lot of products that are fine. Like, they're good, but they're not a need and they're not life-changing, but they work and they do their job. That's why I always include that just okay category. So without further ado, let's just get right into it. Starting with the best makeup, the first thing is the Versed Cashmere Color Smoothing Lip Blush. Versed Skincare just launched an entire makeup line, so I do have all of the products from that line in this video. I also did an entire video on Versed if you want to watch it. This is the lip blush, which really does exactly what it says it's going to do. It just gives a really light matte kind of sheer blush to the lips. This is the shade Scene, which is just a neutral pink. It adds a little bit of pigment without being too precise or too bold. It's a lip product that doesn't look like you're wearing a lip product. You can just toss this on without a lip liner, without a lip gloss, without another lip product, and you can just do it without a mirror as well, because it is very sheer. So if you get outside the lips of the lines of your lips, no one's really gonna notice. But it is just an extremely sheer, everyday, kind of brings life back to the lips. I have been really loving this for that on days when I'm not wearing makeup, or when I'm wearing light makeup, or throughout the day. You know, if you put on a combo and then it wears off, but like you don't want to put on all of those steps but your lips look dead, you just pop a little bit of this on and you're good to go, because there's just life back to your lips, a little bit of color, but not the full commitment of a lip product. The next product is also from Versed. This is the Skin Solution Serum Concealer. I have the shade 1C Fair Cool, which is the lightest shade. The one negative that I have about this, and you can probably see it happening in real time, is that it does oxidize ever so slightly, about maybe a half shade, maybe a shade deeper. Unfortunately, this is not going to work for the fairest of the fair skin tones. I can get away with it if I'm using this on its own, kind of all over the face, but not if I'm wearing like a full face and I want to brighten the under eyes. That being said, that con was not enough to take this out of the best category, because this is the nicest formula I have ever used in a concealer. This says a hydrating medium coverage concealer that blends seamlessly, lightly blurs, and self-sets with a skin-like finish. It is a true serum texture, extremely lightweight. It feels very hydrating, sinks into the skin, and will blend out with anything. I blended it out with my fingers, with a brush, with a dense brush, a loose brush, a puff, a sponge, like everything, and it looks perfect every time. It really sinks into the skin because of that light serum texture. This truly looks like skin. I'll say it is undetectable if you're blend it in, blend it out. Perfection in a concealer. That's it. That's it. Next up is not a new product, but new shades of a product to me. These are the Dibs Jam Jam Lipstick Plumping Melt. I have the shades Raspberry Marmalade and Fig Fantasy. I have talked about these ad nauseum in so many videos. I love this lipstick formula, and I picked up these two additional shades. They are absolutely stunning, kind of like a pinky raspberry red and then a more honey beige. I will have a video linked in the cards, as well as multiple linked in the description box, where you can go see my full thoughts and reviews on the Jam Jams, but I love them. They are in the best category for a reason. The NYX Lip IV Hydrating Gloss Serum. I was very skeptical about these. I went into them a skeptic, and when I do that, I like to be proven right. So imagine my excitement and disappointment when I was proven so terribly wrong. This is such a phenomenal lip gloss formula. Even just down to the applicator, has that nice pointed tip so you can get a really sharp line, and that reservoir in the middle, so you can get full pigment for a long time with this product. You can do one swipe across the lips and get full pigment, full impact, full gloss, no skipping, no patchiness, nada. So you can do your entire lips with precision without dipping back in full pigment. It's a really, really comfortable gel cream formula. A lot of lip tints and lip stains tend to be more on that gel side, which this definitely has those gel properties, but it's a little bit richer and more cushiony in texture, which makes it really, really comfortable wearing it on the lips as well, rather than just wiping it away and then having the stain left behind. It is extremely hydrating, more hydrating than the IT Cosmetics Confidence in a Serum lip glosses, which you guys know are my favorite lip glosses of all time because of how hydrating they are. This is even more hydrating, has more pigment than these, and is more long lasting. The one thing about this though is if you are going to wear this lip product, you are committing to this lip product because the stainless leaves is no joke. Even leaving it on for 5 minutes, you're gonna get a pretty decent stain that's gonna be relatively long lasting, like a few hours. The next favorite is the Estee Lauder Double Wear Concealer. I have the shade 0.5C. This is the lightest shade and it is cool toned. I feel like so many products claim to have a pink undertone and they don't, but this does. I am wearing it under my eyes today. It is very light. However, I just still think that they could have a couple lighter shades. There's only 30 shades of the concealer, so especially for Estee Lauder, you can expand that. This is a silicone-based concealer and its claims are that it is medium to full coverage long wearing and looks fresh all day long. And I can confirm, I wore this maximum for like 11 and a half hours. It looked like I had just applied it at the end of the night. It looked like maybe I wore it for an hour. There was no breaking up, no settling. Everything looked absolutely stunning. And I love a silicone-based concealer because of those silicones are so flexible. They are able to, when your skin moves, under skin concealer, when your skin moves, the silicones can move with your skin as well. So that way, as your skin moves, instead of breaking up, it can remain intact and looking fresh for a longer period of time. And you get a good amount in here. You get 0.4 ounces. It is $38, which is on the expensive side, but you get a lot more concealer. Most concealers, you'll usually get around 0.2 to 0.25, maybe like 0.3 if you're lucky ounces. You get 0.4 in here, so almost half an ounce. So the formula is already exceptional, and I would say it's worth the price. Even though it is pricey, it is 100% worth the price. But being that you get so much product, almost double the amount of a traditional concealer, that just makes it even more worth the price in my opinion. The lip liner favorite, this is the Catrice Plumping lip liner. Is it plumping? I don't know, but is it very creamy and also extremely long wearing? Yes, it is. This is the shade What a Doll. One thing I don't like though is that the name is only on the sticker and not anywhere on the component, which I guess Catrice is a very affordable brand. This is a $4 lip liner, so it's probably more affordable and more cost effective to just buy all of these and then not have to print out different components for different shades. And so it's probably cheaper just to put the shade name on the sticker. So I get it, but this is the that is a long-lasting lip liner. It is on a little bit of that drier side. However, it is not dry. It's not anywhere near like the Kosas Hot Liner or the Huda Beauty lip contours. Those are a much drier twist-up pencil. This still has a lot of smoothness, a lot of glide on the lips, but it is matte and it is long wearing. This will last through a hurricane 100%, and it's $4. Four. I'm gonna go buy every shade. This $4 lip liner, worlds better than every high-end lip liner I own. Every high-end or drugstore lip liner I own, this is, I mean, it's $4 and it's better. It's not just like good or better for the price. It is just better and happens to be $4. I will shut up. Now we have an eyeliner. I don't talk about eyeliners too much because I just don't love eyeliners, and I also find that I just don't know how to do eyeliner that well. But now I think that maybe I wasn't terrible at eyeliner. Maybe I was just using bad eyeliner. This is the eyeliner pencil from Aora, Mexico. This is the shade Azul, and it is very creamy. You can sheer it out or build it up. And I tend to stay away from sharpenable pencil eyeliners because I find that so many of them are quite drying. However, this is like that perfect blend of stiff pencil, but also creamy without smudging. Glides easily without skipping. It's not going to pull and tug. It's very creamy. You can blend it out as well. This makes drawing a straight line across my eye very easy, coming from someone who cannot draw a straight line across their eye. And the last product in the best makeup category is the Nudestix Nudies Bloom. This is their new shade Lilac Love. The Bloom formula is their dewy formula, which this is definitely a very creamy, a very dewy. The shade is like a cool toned rosy pink with like a hint of lilac. It's not fully lilac, but it's also not lilac. Calling it lilac compared to all of the other lavender lilac blushes that we try in the Purple Blush series over on TikTok, it's a bit of a stretch, but it is absolutely gorgeous nonetheless. Very creamy, very blendable, absolutely stunning and flattering cool tone shade. Now moving into the worst products that I tried in March. The first worst makeup product I tried in March is the Versed Bronzer Stick. I have the shade August, which is the lightest shade out of 3 shades. This color is just a very orange. It applies nicely if I apply one sheer barely visible layer, but if I maybe want more bronze and I try and build it up even a second layer, it immediately turns very, very orange on me. It's decently creamy and blendable. It's not the most creamy and most blendable bronzer I've ever used. Same goes for the other cream sticks in the line, but we will get to those in a minute. So I wouldn't recommend applying these directly to the face, even though they are in stick form. But really, at the end of the day, in 2025, I get that they're sheer, but you're only gonna launch 3 bronzer shades. So out of all the things in Versed makeup line, I just wouldn't recommend these. Next is the Versed liquid eyeshadows. These are the Sheer Stay liquid eyeshadows, and sheer they stay. I have the shade Haze, which is described as a cool deep violet, but it's really like a bronze color. Like there's maybe a hint of that kind of like antique jewel plum, but like just a hint. Like this is bronze. These are extremely sheer, which I don't necessarily have a problem with. What I have a problem with is when something is sheer and it doesn't last more than a couple hours on my face. These do set down pretty quickly. They are a very film former heavy formula, so that film is there. They don't really budge, and they don't crease in the eyes. They just, even if you build up like 2 layers, you're only gonna get so much pigment, and they just disappear by the end of the night on my lids. To get the color payoff that they show in the promos, you're gonna need to use like half of this bottle. So I will reach for this on days when I maybe only put on a little bit concealer, because my eyelids naturally, they're more of like an orangey color. I will take this and just apply a very, very light amount on my eyelids. If I kind of just wanna put something there, I'll put on a very, very light layer. So I just have this nice kind of little bit of a reflective, doesn't really look like, but that's the only real use for this product. Also, you can only blend these out with your finger. If you try and blend them out or pick them up or anything with a brush, they are going to set down way too quickly. It needs that warmth from your finger to stay malleable for a little bit. Otherwise, it's just gonna get very bunchy, very patchy. It's gonna pill all over itself. It needs to be blended with a finger. This is the last Versed product in this category. This is the Versed Face Primer. This does nothing. Literally nothing. It says it's a smoothing, it says it's not smooth in texture, it's not smooth in appearance, it's really dry. It doesn't make my makeup apply better. I don't know if it makes it apply worse, but it literally just does nothing. It doesn't feel nice on the skin. It is just like, it's dry. It doesn't do anything. It doesn't really make my skin look smoother. It added that little kind of sheen to my hand because, you know, it's a cream. It just doesn't do anything. Next up in the worst category, these are the BareMinerals Mineralist lip liners. These don't even have 5 seconds of longevity. And lastly, in the worst category is the Half Magic Sparkle Stick Eye Crayon. I have the shade Phobot, and this shade is everything. It is absolutely stunning, but the formula is it's so dry. I did this in, like, if you twist it up even that much, it's gonna crumble and break off. It literally, like, it did that the first time I got it. Like, the first time I used it, that happened. And I have seen every review I've ever seen of these. Everyone has had that issue of this breaking, it falling out, it crumbling. It's just too dry of a formula, but the sparkle is so pretty. Like, yeah, it just crumbled. But the color is absolutely stunning. Again, this is shade Phobot. It's really, really gorgeous. You just have to be so careful with this. And so for something that's going to crumble, that's going to break, that's going to fall out of the component, $24 is just a hefty sum to pay that I wouldn't recommend you do it. I've already done it, so I'm already here. I would recommend you look at other cream and stick eyeshadows to see if there's a color or something of similarity of what you're looking for in the half magic before you bite the bullet and get the half magic, just because it will crumble. And now we are into the just okay makeup category. This is where most of the makeup that I tried this month is. First up is the Versed Tinted Serum. Again, this is in the shade 1C Fair Cool, which is the lightest shade. This is a really nice light coverage foundation. It's not a tint, it is a little bit more. So it does give some coverage. It has a nice natural finish on the skin. The one issue that I have with this is that it stinks of sunscreen. Stinks. Smells awful. You know how with the concealer, it oxidizes a little bit, but I was like, that doesn't knock it down. The smell on this knocks it down. It lasts all day. There is no getting rid of it. You just have to put up with that sunscreen smell all day long. If it didn't have that, it would have been in the best products because it is really beautiful. I am wearing it today. It is a very, very nice light coverage foundation. SPF 40, but the smell is just, I can't wear it every day. But I would if it didn't have the smell. Also in here is the Versed Tinted Lip Serum Gloss. I have the shade Bake, which is kind of like a warm nude, not my favorite color. It's a bit warmer than I typically go for. And it is very melty. It's not as goopy as the Tarte. It's not as stiff as the NYX. It lives somewhere kind of in the middle, but because it is a bit goopy, it can be a bit patchy. If you apply it just very lightly, it's really not patchy and it is quite nice on the lips. It does have a bit of a cooling sensation. However, there's no like menthol or anything that should tingle or plump like in the description of the ingredients. So I don't know what that's from. But I think in a world of clicky gloss pens, lip gloss sticks, there are just so many. You probably already own one that you like. You don't need to go out and get this one. Next is the Versed Cream Blush Sticks. I have the shade of Bloom, which is described as a rosy mauve. And this is basically the same formula as the bronzer, where it is quite sheer. You can build this up though. It is a little bit more pigmented than the bronzer, so it builds up a little bit faster. The color is actually quite nice, decently blendable, but not enough so that I would draw it on the face. Again, same as the bronzer. And I do think the shade is really pretty. However, the formula is just nothing extraordinary, to the sense that you probably already own a cream blush similar to the lip gloss. You probably already own a cream blush that you like. The colors aren't revolutionary. The formula is not revolutionary. The colors are nice and the formula is nice. But in a world full of cream blushes, there are better ones, and you probably already have something that works for you that you don't need this. But it is nice. It's okay. Also in this category is the highlight stick from Versed. I have the shade Polished, which is described as a rose gold, but it kind of pulls like more of a copper on me. And the shade on its own as a highlight is a bit too dark on my skin tone. If I put it on top of a blush, then it will work. And if I use this kind of as like a blonde lighter to know, like if I want to do like blush, bronzer, and highlight all in one step, like maybe for like a one and done cheek for summer, I think this shade's gonna be really nice for that. But in the world of the Versed makeup line, the blush and bronzer are so dewy on the cheeks that it kind of seemed redundant for them to launch a highlighter. When you apply this on top of the other products, it doesn't really make that big of a difference because everything else is so dewy and glowy that adding extra glow on top doesn't add anything. It is a nice cream highlight, but again, nothing extremely innovative. It feels nice, it's creamy, it's blendable. Again, there are only 3 shades. What are we doing? And the last Versed product is the Easy Brow Tinted Brow Gel. This is a nice creamy brow gel. It almost kind of feels like a brow pomade that was just put into a tube with a brush, but a little bit more of a creamy version. It is nice. It's in my brows right now. This shade is brown. Again, only 3 shades. What is up with the 3 shades? I get it. Everything is supposed to be sheer, buildable, but 3 shades is ridiculous. So I have the shade Brown, which is the middle shade. It's a little bit warmer than I would typically go for with my brows, but I can still wear it. It still works for me. I think it's a good formula. I do have other brow products that I like better. Right now, I have the Maybelline Super Fluff, which is more affordable than this, and I just like that product better than this, and it has more shades. I definitely don't think this is a waste of money. It is a nice brow gel, keeps my brows in place, has a nice hole, fills them in. It's a good brow gel. It's just not my absolute favorite. Next in Just Okay is the Dibs Love Beam Setting Spray. This is a buy Phase setting spray. I don't know how well you're gonna be able to see it. So you just shake it up. This can be used to prep the skin, hydrate the skin, set makeup, and extend wear. It offers a kind of demi glow. They call it a glassy matte finish, which makes no sense. I love Dibs, but that makes no sense. I think they're trying to say that it mattifies, but also refreshes your makeup. So it sets everything down, but offers that lit from within glow, kind of. It offers like a demi matte, demi glow kind of finish. I do really like this setting spray. It smells amazing because it smells like every Dibs product, which smells like vanilla. It is very, very nice. I do like it. I do find that my makeup wears really well when I put this over top. However, it does not make my makeup transfer proof. So I will use this on a daily basis, but like if I want my makeup to look refreshed and fresh, but locked in, so I want this kind of a finish, but I want that true transfer proof, I will go for the ColourPop Pretty Fresh setting spray, which is half the price of this one. Also from Dibs is the Baked Blush, the Duet Baked Blush Duo. This is the shade Popstar. It has a pink side and kind of like a warm orangey red side. This is a blush lighter. This is not a blush. This is a very sheer and a very glowy, a true blush topper, blush lighter kind of product. So if you're going into this thinking that it's gonna be a standalone blush, it is not. I am wearing it right now on top of other cream and liquid blushes. And I think that that is the best use for it, because if you are using this as your standalone blush, you're gonna use a lot of product and your cheeks are going to be very, very glowy, which all power to you if that's the look you want. Sometimes that is the look I want. So sometimes I will just go in with that and really build it up and have a very rosy, very glowy cheek. But that's not what I want every single day. So that is why it's not in the best category. It is in the okay category, because it's not a standalone blush, but it is an absolutely beautiful blush topper. Getting into setting powders, the Wet n Wild Photo Focus Loose Setting Powder. This was recommended by one of you guys, and it is a nice setting powder. It is a very matte setting powder. So if I over apply this, it can look a little bit drying, and I have the shade Translucent, which again, if I apply maybe a little bit too much, it's pretty obvious that my setting powder is a bit deeper than my skin tone because I am the color of paper. With the kind of satin finish that I like to go for with my makeup, it is a little bit too drying if I accidentally over apply. So it's absolutely not foolproof, but it absolutely will set your makeup in place and keep it in place. It's very matte, but it's not as blurring as the powder we're gonna talk about next. The L'Oreal Infallible Blurfection Powder. Now I will say the formula of this powder is exceptional. It is blurring in real life, blurring. And this is the shade Light Pink. If I apply this with a light hand, it's under my eyes right now very lightly. It is not too pink. If I apply too much of this, my under eyes look like I set my under eyes with blush. And that is why I don't love most pink powders, because being so fair, pink powders, it's not brightening, it's just pink. And you only get 6 grams of product in here. It is quite expensive. It's $13.99 for 6 grams, which makes it on par with a lot of high-end setting powders. Also, it's not the most finely milled powder in the world. The Essence one is much more finely milled and it's a lot more affordable. So I would just like to see maybe a little bit of a finer mill that could help it not look as powdery and drying when and if over applied. If you want something that is going to blur. And the last setting powder in this video, this is the BareMinerals Original Mineral Veil Pressed Setting Powder. This is nice and fine. It's a hard press, so you're not picking up too much product every time you go in. This does a really, really nice job of mattifying and blurring. However, I don't use it as my main setting powder. What I will use this for is my touch-up powder. If I maybe get a little bit glowy and I want a powder that's not going to disturb my makeup, it's not gonna, when you put powder over top, it's gonna cling to things. This just does a really nice job of refreshing it, mattifying it, and blurring it. And I also really like the little puff that comes in here. It is nice. It's really great for travel. Just throw it in your bag. It is a wonderful powder for that, but it is not my setting powder. So that's why it's not in the best, because it is a setting powder, but I don't love it like that. Also from BareMinerals in the just okay category is the Dewy Lip Gloss Balm. I have the shade Affection. It's kind of like a pinky red color. It is nice. It is a quite sheer glossy balm, just like it says. It's really comfortable, very sheer. I don't really have anything negative to say about it other than the price is $24. If you've been looking for something very easily, you like BareMinerals, this is a nice formula, but it's just not something I find myself gravitating towards and reaching for. Another product from Aora, this is the Tinted Solid Lip Serum. I have the shade Rosa, which is just a pink, kind of a rosy color. It looks like a pretty sheer pink on here, but on the lips it does turn a little bit more of a bolder rose. This has a slight plump from chili extract. You can't really feel too much of it. It's very, very subtle. It is quite melty. You can probably see on that edge just from rubbing it right there. Like it really, really melts. It's a very, very soft formula, not like the YSL Candy Glaze. Those are a bit stiffer and denser. This is very malleable, but not as melty as the Dibs Jam Jams. It's another product that's nice. I just don't find myself reaching for it all the time because that pink, you can see it develops a little bit more over time. It just goes to a little bit more of a hot pink than I personally prefer. Now, wrapping up this category, we have two liquid blushes. The first one is the NARS Afterglow Liquid Blush. This is in the shade Wanderlust. This is a part of the Purple Blush series, but we were just talking about the formula. This is a very beautiful color in a very sheer formula. Where'd she go? Where'd she go? The most natural whisper flush for those no makeup days or those no makeup days when you really want your blush to be like there but undetectable, and you're like, oh, is her skin naturally flushing? Like, that's this, but you're not getting more than this. You can build this up as much as you want, you're not getting more than this, which I personally really, really love on some days, but I know that a lot of people probably are like, Anna, that's a waste of money. You might be right, but I like it, but it is in the just okay category because of that. And the other blush in the just okay category is the About Face Blush Rush Liquid Blush. I have the shade Jumpstart, which is a very bold purple, also in the Purple Blush series. And this shade looks quite intimidating. However, it does sheer out quite nicely. This is a very, very purple. The other ones kind of turn more into those like lavendery, lilac-y kind of purpley pinks, and this stays quite purple. It is a nice, creamy, blendable formula. However, it can, just like the NARS one I forgot to mention as well, pick up foundation underneath it. So both of these products do it, but they are also both liquid blushes. You have to kind of be a little bit more careful when you're applying a very wet formula. Also, it's from About Face, and a lot of things from About Face are quite small. This is only 0.11 ounces, which is quite little. So their formulas are good, but they give you less product than typical a lot of the times. I assume to keep costs down because their formulas are quite nice, so they might be a little bit more expensive, but I just wish you got more product as well. If you are in the market for a liquid blush, I do think this is a good one, but I think if you have maybe a whole collection of liquid blushes, you maybe don't need this one. Now moving into skincare, the best products that I tried. The first one is Experiment Molecular Mesh. Experiment Beauty came out with their first moisturizer this month, and I have been using this since she was just a little baby lab sample, so I've been using this for quite a while. And they finally launched the full size. This is a barrier boosting and soothing moisturizer. The texture is actually quite similar to the Tatcha Dewy Skin Cream, but this is only $30 where the Tatcha is $72. It's not too rich and heavy, it's not sticky, but it is very like ooey gooey, has a very plushy feel on the skin, still very breathable, but really does hydrate. Experiment is one of my favorite skincare brands because they are always very transparent about their ingredients list. They tell you the percentages of special ingredients that they're using and why they're using it. Like on the box, it has 0.6% barrier boosters, ectoin and phytosphingosine, 10% hydrating humectants, glycerin and diglycerin, 3.1% soothing complex centella liposomes, and guanidine. So they tell you all of the information, all of the key players in it. And if you go on the website, they have even more information about why they chose those specifically. And they are very, very transparent about their formula. So I absolutely love that. And they don't launch just to launch. They launch because there's a product missing or a product that they wish they had, that they're filling a gap. They are innovating. They're coming out with something new. So this has been an absolute win for me. My skin type is normal to dry, but I am also acne prone, and that moisturizer is just the next product in the best skincare. You're never gonna guess this. It's a lip balm that's not software. If you are newer here, my favorite lip balm of all time is Experiment Software. I've been using this for the past year. There is nothing better than this, and this is still not as good, but this moisturizes, exfoliates, hydrates, everything perfectly that you want. This is the best lip balm on the face of the planet. And I try a lot of lip balms. This is the only one that has made it into regular rotation with software. I don't use it as much as software, but this does live by my bathroom sink. This is also a dermatologist founded brand, Dr. Meeb Shah. He is Dr. Lee on socials. This is really comfortable. It has a no shine, really. It's just a nice balm, nice curved rubber applicator. Feels really nice on the lips. Again, no shine, it's just a balm. Adds that really nice protective layer, has ceramides, squalane, peptides, and petrolatum. So adds a really nice occlusive layer. This does stay on overnight as well. It doesn't have that same kind of latching on feeling that software does, but this does have a lot of longevity to it. It adds that occlusive layer without kind of forming that film of skin over the lips. You know, some lip balms, you put them on and then your lips, that top layer like kind of dries out or like becomes like a film, and it's very uncomfortable. This does not do that. It doesn't cause any sort of irritation on the lips. doesn't cause dryness in the long run, a really, really, really nice lip balm. And that's coming from me. I have nothing in the worst skincare category, but we are going to jump right into the just okay. First up is the Beauty of Joseon Daily Tinted Fluid Sunscreen Broad Spectrum SPF 50. This is their fully mineral tinted SPF. They marketed this kind of like skincare and makeup skin tint. It's not that, it doesn't have that much coverage. The tint is really just to offset the white cast, but it is a very, very fluid texture. This runs like, this is very, very, very liquidy and very, very fluid and thin. It's a tint in the sense that it offsets the white cast, but it's not really adding any coverage. It just does kind of tint the skin. It feels very fluid and almost oily at first, but it does set down to a more kind of natural matte finish. It is good. I have mentioned this before. Sometimes at the end of the day, my skin will just feel like I'm itching to just take it off, like my makeup, like everything, only when I'm using this sunscreen. So I don't quite understand what's going on there, but fine, it's good. I will use it up, but it has not replaced my favorite sunscreens. Like the Undefined Beauty R&R Sun Serum is still my favorite mineral sunscreen. Next up are things that were gonna be in the best category, but then I woke up this morning with little bumps all over my face, and one of them is the culprit. And I have theories for both of them. So the first one is the Brandified Superfood Glow Serum. This is a really nice hydrating serum. The main ingredients are water and glycerin, so it is a very nice humectant-based formula. Also has some antioxidants from kale and other vitamins, has hyaluronic acid, niacinamide. A nice serum, gives my skin a nice glow to it. It's not the most hydrating thing I've ever used, but it is really nice. My skin gets a nice glow. The Thayer's Blemish Clearing Pads. This has 2% salicylic acid. They are just little wipes that you swipe over the skin. They're $9.99, you get 60 pads. I don't know if it's this because it's not all over my face, and I apply this all over my face, but it is newer to my routine. So this is really the only new product I've used. Okay, now moving into body care. These are not new products, but they're new scents to me. So starting with the best, the Tree Hut Shea Sugar Scrubs. These are so aggressive. These will rip off like 2 layers of skin. That's why I love them so much. But this is the Scent Ocean Glow. Like a pineapple cocktail on the beach. Like a tropical coastal vacation. Not a pina colada, but like a pineapple cocktail. Like some vodka and some pineapple. And I think going into summer, spring, summer, absolutely scrumdiddlyumptious. It's delicious. It smells like a fruity little drink. And next, I put this one in just okay because the scent is just okay, but the formula is immaculate. This is the Josie Maran Whipped Oil Argan Body Butters. These are my favorite body butter formula on the planet. The texture of these is just unlike anything else, and the scents are amazing, but this is Golden Hour, and it's just not my most favorite. I prefer Vanilla Vibes to Golden Hour, but this is their new scent. It smells, they say it's supposed to smell like an homage to California. It smells like a tree, but like in a good way. Like it smells like a yummy tree, like a nice fresh woodsy tree with some leaves, but no, actually not. I take back leaf. It smells like a twig. I just prefer maybe something like warmer and sweeter, but it still smells nice, and the formula is incredible. I have 2 things for hair care. The first thing is in the best category. If you just watched my bond repair update, you have seen it. It is the Pureology Strength Cure Dream Healer Serum. This thing, unreal. You can't see my hair because it's pulled back in a bun right now, but this makes my hair look like I don't need a haircut anymore. It makes my hair look fresh. My split ends, can't see them. It adds shine without adding weight. It is extremely like thick gel-like in the bottle, but it really kind of flashes off and becomes very, very lightweight in the hair. And my hair looks so healthy. It smells like alcohol because isododecane and denatured alcohol are high up in the ingredients list, but that's a good thing because that's what makes it so lightweight in the hair and what makes the amino acids in here able to penetrate your hair to help further strengthen your bond. But the scent goes away as soon as that alcohol flashes off, so I'm not too mad about it. Just putting it in doesn't smell the best, but you can't smell it after, and this makes my hair look like it's brand new. And another hair thing, this is from Bondi Boost. This is the Everlast Air Styler, and yes, it comes in this little baggie. This is their hair dryer, and it comes with like little air wrap attachments, as well as with a blowout attachment, hair dryer attachment, and a concentrator attachment. I have been liking this. It's a bit expensive. It's $188, but compared to something like the Shark is like 200 and something, and the Dyson is like 500 and something. So it is quite affordable, and I did do the air wrap curls, and I did a wear test, and they lasted in my hair for like 5 days because I kept seeing everyone say that these were extremely long lasting. So I got it on TikTok Shop and they lasted like 5 days. And the blow dryer is nice. It gets nice and hot. There's no cool shot button, which I did get some questions about. There's no cool shot button, but the curls set really nicely and fairly quickly. Sometimes I will still go in with just that concentrator nozzle and a round brush rather than use the air wrap attachment, because sometimes the air wrap attachment, depending on how I've prepped my hair and like what state my hair's in, sometimes it can get a bit frizzy if I just use the air wrap attachment. So I will go in with a round brush as well. It is a little expensive, but it comes with 6 attachments and they have sales going on fairly frequently. It's nice. I like it. I think you'll like it if you're looking for a new hair dryer, but spend your money how you want. If you want the Dyson, get the Dyson, you know? Do you need it? Maybe if you're not in the market for a hair dryer, then no, but if you are, it's a nice one. Okay, and with the disappearing sun, I think it's time that we wrap this video up. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope that you enjoyed this. I hope you got some good reviews. Maybe I talked you into some products, maybe I talked you out of some products. Let me know down below if you've tried any of the things that I talked about in this video. If we have the same opinions on them, I'd love to know if we have the same tastes on products. Maybe you're like, yes, I love that product. You're like, Anna, you like that product? That was awful. Let me know. I want to know. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you being here, and I will see you in the next video.